Welcome to this too. I am your host, Timothy. Thank you so much for joining me today. What I'd like to speak about today is how physical exercise can actually positively influence and affect the psychological impacts of trauma, depression, and anxiety. And before I begin, I just want to state clearly that I am not a licensed mental health professional in any way, shape, or form. I'm just a man trying to navigate his own challenges and difficulties with major depressive disorder. I suffer from anxiety as well, and I've also been diagnosed with borderline personality. So what I want to talk about today is how I navigate that on a daily basis, especially going through the difficult period that I am right now. So thank you for joining me, and just remember, whatever you are going through, this too shall pass. So let's dive in. We spend a lot of time on this show talking about the mind and how we process things and how we grow and how we navigate the heavy stuff life throws our way. But today, I feel like we need to get radically honest about the actual vessel that carries us and houses that mind, your body. And your body has a major impact on your mental health, and your mental health has a massive impact on your body. And there's a misconception that emotional pain, grief, and trauma are strictly psychological issues. These are not just ghosts that just live in our heads. Science tells a completely different story. Trauma isn't just a memory, it's a physical state. It gets tapped in our nervous system. It rewrites how our brain communicates. And today I want to look at hard evidence-based reality of our physical health impact psychological survival. So we can look at what happens biologically when we move and why specific types of exercise aren't just about fitness, they are clinical, neurological interventions. So let's perhaps start with something like complex and severe, like post-traumatic stress disorder or severe anxiety. And that creates that classic fight or flight situation within us. And that sits in your chest, and for me, I know I feel it not just in my chest, but I feel it like in my head when anxiety becomes really strong. And when you experience trauma, the brain often loses its ability to perform what neuroscientists call the fear extinction. So it forgets how to recognize that you are safe. Your amygdala is sounding the alarm, flooding your body with cortisol. And this is where aerobic work comes in. When you're out there pushing your lungs on a long run or getting your heart rate up with a jump rope, you aren't just burning calories, you are literally fertilizing your brain. Running triggers a massive surge of a protein called BDNF, or Brain-Derived Neurotrophic Factor. Think of BDNF as the brain's repair mechanism. It specifically targets the hippocampus, healing the neural damage caused by chronic stress. At the same time, aerobic exercise also reduces things like endocannabinoids, which act as biological safety signals. Recent studies show that doing this kind of steady-state cardio actually helps your brain unlearn fear. It improves the efficiency of your prefrontal cortex, meaning it takes less mental energy for you to regulate your emotions. You are physically teaching your nervous system how to calm down. And then another important form of exercise would be resistance or strength training. Right? What about something like depression? The numbness or that profound sense of helplessness that you feel when depression is really active and whispering into your ear. You feel like you have zero agency over your life, and you kind of give up and just give into the depression. And I know I've been there. I've certainly felt that, and I've certainly allowed it to take the proverbial wheel. Aerobic work helps with panic, but resistance training is the antidote to helplessness. When you pick up a heavy weight, whether you're swinging a kettlebell, lifting dumbbells, or doing some kind of strength protocol, or even doing some structured, heavy bag work, if you are into striking in MMA or boxing, which I love, you're engaging in a process of immediate, undeniable mastery. Depression strips away your sense of capability. Resistance training forces you to confront a physical obstacle and overcome it in real time. You lift the weight, you land the punch, you control the outcome. Biologically, this type of intense, focused physical exertion does something incredible. Meta-analysis from the last year shows that strength and resistance training significantly reduces depressive symptoms by boosting GABA, which is a neurotransmitter, by boosting the central nervous system. It's not just a endorphin rush, it's a structural rebuilding of your self-efficacy. You are proving to your brain, rep by rep, that you are strong enough to handle resistance. So, if we want to consider exercise to be part of our mental health regime, like medication, what would be advisable? What is recognized as a healthy dosage of mental exercise? And I think anything between 30 to 45 minutes on a daily basis is sufficient. And what we're looking at in terms of a total amount for the week, looking at anything between, where's that? No, sorry, just lost my place in my notes. 150 to 390 minutes per week. So like I said, 30 to 45 minutes per day. If you're working out 4 to 5 days a week, that should be sufficient. What I found, I just become addicted to running, so I probably turn around about 5 to 6 days a week. I make sure that I obviously take care and rest because it's important. Your body is not a machine. Just like anything else, if you run it at a high level, constantly, it is going to give in as well. So rest and recovery is important, and the physical exertion helps with that because it helps you to actually switch your brain off and rest and sleep and get a good night's sleep, which is vital for physical and mental recovery. So I'm going to leave it there. Just want to do a short one just to kind of let you guys get something new. I hope that it helps. I just feel like I need to let you guys know because this has pretty much saved my life the past 2 months. So I hope that anyone listening finds this helpful, finds it useful. Please reach out to SADAG, to Lifeline. If you feel like you need to speak to somebody, there are support mechanisms for anyone that is dealing with the struggle. You need to remember that you are not alone. And you can do something for yourself too. You can go for a run, you can go for a walk, you can hit the gym. And that momentary investment in yourself might just help you save your own life. It might just make you see more of your own value. So thank you so much for joining me and giving me your time today. Just remember, whatever we are going through in life, whether it's good or bad, this too shall pass. Thank you and have a good week.